Hey, it's Lori here at BowerComm, and I work with organizations of all sizes on how to transform their communications to achieve a new level of impact. Today, I'm going to take you behind the scenes on our 9-step process to take you from directionless communications that leave you feeling undervalued to a focused and unified plan ready for implementation that can catapult you towards your goals. So with our journey to yes, there are 3 phases: discover, define, and develop. And there are 9 steps across these, but one of them remains a mystery to a lot of people, and that's defining the brand foundation. The brand foundation step is when we really dive into your story. What is your essence? What's your positioning? What's your personality? And what are your values? So what happens if you get the brand foundation wrong? Well, people don't understand your value. You don't have a North Star on which to point all of your communications. You don't have that common thread running through everything that you do. When it's not quite right, it leads to rounds of revisions. Ultimately, the brand foundation is the cornerstone of that progress you need to make. It is the most critical element in this whole process. We tend to work with a lot of community foundations, and so today I thought I'd show you an example of how community foundation positionings are a little bit predictable based on their size and their maturity. Now, I'll give a small caveat here, which is that this is what we typically see, but it doesn't always have to be the case. Some very small community foundations are very focused on the 4th stage that we'll see here, and that is great. When we look at the first step, which is kind of the 0 to 5 million range, they are focused on grant making. People get a pool of money together and form a foundation, and their whole goal is to create financial support for local nonprofits and students. They're really a nonprofit benefactor. At some point, they start to grow beyond $5 million, and they come into this next phase where they start focusing not only on grant making, but also on donor services. They're what I would call a charitable bank. They have donor advised funds and other funds that they are managing and saying, donor, where do you want those funds to go? And then they direct the funds. So they're kind of the middleman. Then when they get into that $20 to $25 million stage, it's about connecting donors and needs. And they start to focus much more on funds that are unrestricted for funding really high impact types of initiatives that may be $50,000, $100,000 or more. So an example is the Seattle Foundation. Now, this may or may not be current depending on when you're watching this video, but at that time they were talking about give with impact, give together, be part of something bigger. So it's about the foundation providing you with knowledge of community issues and then helping people understand where they can make the most impact. So then the 4th and self-actualized stage as community foundations mature is being a catalyst for change. And a great example of that is the San Francisco Foundation. Their mission is to mobilize resources and act as a catalyst for change to build strong communities, foster civic leadership, and promote philanthropy in their area. And so they are truly not just giving money here and there, they are the ones driving the ship. One of my first clients when I struck out on my own was Hutchinson Community Foundation. And they came to me saying, we just feel like people don't understand our value. We don't think we have enough awareness in the community to reach the goals, really aggressive goals that we want to meet. We want to grow our endowment by millions of dollars, and we are not set up to do that. We looked at where they were in the maturity model, and at that time, they were in the charitable bank area and moving into the connecting people with causes that they care about. And so we positioned them as generosity made greater. Hutchinson Community Foundation could simplify giving and help people understand where they could make the most impact. So fast forward to 2020. They have made leaps and bounds of progress. They've grown from a $30 million foundation to a $60+ million foundation. And they said, guess what? We now have 7 or 8 staff. We have program officers. We are ready to move beyond being a charitable bank and to become a catalyst for change. We need to reposition ourselves so that we can help people understand now the role that we're playing in the community and that we have different value. So we went through this 9-step process again, and what we landed on was a brand foundation about everyone a change maker. So they weren't trying to show that the community foundation is the catalyst for change. They are trying to inspire everyone in the community to be a change maker and they are the one helping facilitate that. So the brand foundation will take you from disconnected, loose benefit statements to one single idea that will lay the foundation for everything that you do. But that's just one piece of this 9-step process. In order to get to the right brand foundation, you have to do the discovery work to understand the perceptions and your strengths and weaknesses. And then you have to take that brand foundation and turn it into a communications plan so that you can get your message out to your audiences. My very first job out of college was to be a county extension agent for a 4-H program in the middle of Kansas. And in that job, I met lots of nonprofit leaders who were always struggling to talk about what it was they did. And they only had a budget of about $300. When I left that job and went to work for an advertising agency, I continued working with nonprofits just on the other side, trying to help them tell those stories. And over the past 20 years, I've developed this 9-step process so that it's more systemized and people can understand exactly how they can go about going from this state of being undervalued and being completely directionless to having a plan that is going to make a difference. To me, the really exciting thing is if you have a great message that is well planned and well communicated, you can make such a difference. It is just amazing, and that is what really motivates me every day. So now, together with my team, we serve associations, foundations, and other organizations looking to achieve this new level of impact, and it can happen for you. So here's what I want you to think about. What would it mean to you if you really had a compelling story to tell? What could it mean to you if you had an action plan for the next 12 months that laid out exactly what you needed to do each week in order to achieve where you want to be at the end of 12 months and beyond? When we think about where organizations are in their ability to communicate, there are 3 different levels. First, organizations are doing one-offs that usually end up being too little too late. They don't showcase your value and people just aren't hearing from you. The second level, which is still not great, is individual efforts without cohesion. So people may be hearing from you sporadically, but it's not always the same story, and it is a lot of effort to get to even one thing. And then the top level, where you want to be, is a compelling story with a streamlined, detailed 12-month action plan. So it's consistent communication with one compelling story threaded throughout. So if you're ready to stop feeling undervalued and start making people aware that you exist, let's talk. You can book a strategy session, which is a 45-minute phone call. And in that phone call, we'll talk about a few different things. What are your goals? What are your aspirations, and what are you trying to achieve? What's holding you back? What is keeping you from reaching your goals? And we'll talk about what you hope to achieve through a planning process like this. So this call is a time for us to see if we're a good fit for each other. All you have to do is click the button below and set a time, and we'll get started.